guys, and welcome to our final talk here at EGX this weekend. And today I am joined by three lovely guests. But as always, I'm going to start off by letting them introduce themselves. So guys, who would like to go first? Give us a little bit about yourselves and your background.
I guess we can start on this side. Hey guys, my name is Martin Copping. I voice Mozzie, who was up there in Rainbow Six Siege, and also Lucas Riggs in Call of Duty, and then a bunch of other stuff, but you can look that up later if you're interested.
Hello everyone, I'm Chad Michael Collins. No, I'm not. No, I'm Jeff Teravainen. I play Sam Fisher in Rainbow Six Siege and other stuff, and all kinds of other video games, and yes, I'm here in London. Go ahead.
Well done. I'm not Jeff Teravainen. That's him. I'm Chad Michael Collins. I play Alex, how conveniently timed, Echo 3-1 in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, mobile, and Warzone, and other such things that your parents have probably watched in primetime television.
Great. So for this panel as well, if you guys have any questions, please make your way to the middle. There will be a microphone. It is an AMA, so you're welcome to ask anything you want to either of our guests. But to start us off, basically, what got you into voice acting?
Who wants to take this first? Chad Michael Collins.
For me, voice acting came as an extension of TV and film acting. I think getting a chance to be in Call of Duty Modern Warfare opened the door for that for me. That was a full motion capture, performance capture, and of course the voice and everything else. We did that all on the stage, so that kind of opened the door to Call of Duty Mobile, which was just voice, and some other projects that have come since then to do the voiceover stuff. But it's a lot of fun. There's not many things you can do in your pajamas from home, and voice acting is one of those things. So store that away, people, if you're not a fan of pants.
Nice.
Well, I guess I'll speak. I got into it sort of the same thing. I became an actor, but I used to be a singer, so I was kind of used to the microphone, that sort of thing. And I love video games. I absolutely have loved video games my whole life. So when I had an opportunity to go out for one, I was right in, and I think it was the first game I ever landed was one of the Resident Evil ones. And I completely lost my mind because I was in a game and I just kept going after it. So it was fortunate enough to do it. I love it.
Yeah, I kind of fell into it when I was at drama school many years ago. I had one of my cousins worked at ABC Radio Drama, and she used to call me in for these little voiceover jobs. And yeah, that kind of moved more into commercial work in voiceover, but I was never really pursuing it. It just kind of happened, and then I moved to the States and eventually ended up, booking Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and then another game which hasn't been released yet, and then Rainbow Six, and then, Call of Duty Vanguard and Warzone and Zombies, and it just seems to be just a natural progression for me, and
Nice.
I haven't really ever pursued it, so it's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. So following on for that, do you all, and speaking about the pants, maybe you've got a particular favorite pair of pajamas, but do you have any sort of pre-voice acting regimes that you do? I don't know if you've got anything like that, or you just go straight into it. Don't know who wants to go first. Who's got the most exciting one?
It depends on the character, but sometimes when, like for Sam Fisher, I will often actually go out and drink the night before. Because I've taken over
I like that one.
I've taken over from a legend, Michael Ironside, and his natural voice is deeper than the earth. So to get that kind of deepness, it just helps to be a little sick the next day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Not everything though.
Yeah, not really. I used to do a lot of vocal warm-ups, tongue twisters, and different vocal exercises, but not so much now. I think after enough practice, you kind of know what you need to do, and it's more about Zombie Hunter. It's more about trying to preserve myself, especially if we're doing battle chatter or something, trying not to lose my voice.
Yeah. What about
Unique
yourself?
New York. It reminds me of the movie Anchorman, if anybody watched the Will Ferrell movie Anchorman with his vocal exercises. I don't do a lot of that. And I was, pretty lucky because Alex was you had a tough job because you're filling someone else's shoes. There was a high bar set, right? Alex was an original character, so it wasn't like I was reinventing Captain Price or Ghost or any of these other characters that had been established before. So I was free to be me, and it worked out. It worked out.
Nice, nice. So next, speaking about all the different characters that you've all, you know, partook in, which is your favorite, but also which was your hardest as well?
When we were filming Modern Warfare, my character goes to, oh man, I'm forgetting the name of the fictional Middle Eastern country, but I go and join up with a bunch of freedom fighters, Farah and her brother Hadir. There's Russian occupation, a little on the nose these days, and so I have to speak some lines in Arabic, and we had a wonderful translator there and everything, but it was, you know, Yalanato. I'll never forget that. It took me a long time to get that right. Let's fight. Yalanato. And I was like, I know I just butchered this, but I'm doing my best here. That's probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do for the voiceover stuff. Everything else is just standard American.
Nice. What about you guys? Have you got anything that you would say was pretty hard, or even your favorite, if you just were like, that was a lot of fun?
Martin's looking at me like I have to speak.
It's up to you. You don't have to.
The favorite stuff I've ever done, I think, would be probably Sam Fisher, because it's Sam Fisher.
Yeah.
But I've got to play all kinds of different people, including different languages and stuff, Russian, everything. But the hardest stuff in video games that I think that you do is what they call the Onos. Anybody ever heard of Onos? Okay, in the industry, that's basically dying, getting killed, tortured, and like that.
Yes.
So you'll have a day that's booked for Onos, and that could mean you'll read the script, and it's basically die in a fire for 1 second, die in a fire for 4 seconds, die in a fire for 8 seconds, and they want you to die. So I've got pictures of me covered in sweat, veins popping on my head. I think I'm having a stroke because you want it to be as real as possible. And then once you're done dying in a fire, then you're shot with a machine gun, then you're shot with a small caliber rifle, you're shot with grenades going on, and it just goes on for a full day. And then you lose your voice, and then you worry that you'll never work again.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Ubisoft has been good, though. They've hired this guy, Darcy Ryan. He's down from Ohio, and he teaches death metal singers.
Oh, wow.
So I've started to work with him because he's teaching, kind of guys, right? I'm learning a little bit better how to do it without killing your throat, but still sounds right. Honestly, if you guys haven't worked with him, I can give you his number, because you know, once you lose your voice, there's no more video games. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Top that, Martin.
I don't think I can. Yeah, I mean, you know, favorite jobs. I've been kind of typecast recently as more of the laconic Australian character who's a bit rough around the edges and swears and pisses on things. I've had like 3 very similar characters. I can't really decide which is my favorite. It just, I don't know, different versions of myself. But you know, the hard stuff, I would definitely agree with Jeff. In Vanguard, I think, I don't know why I had to get set on fire, but yeah, I got set on fire, and it was at the end of a battle chatter session, which is, you know, a good 4 hours of screaming like reinforcing, grenade, you know, all that shit. And then they finally finished it off. If you've got any voice left, they'll set you on fire. And
Yeah.
it is, yeah, I mean, I
Yeah, they
can't
save
stop
it for last, don't they?
Yeah.
I can confirm.
We need
Right
5
then.
different versions of you dying in gas.
Yes.
Setting on
Yeah.
fire, getting shot, blown up by a grenade, all the other ways you can die. And then you have to come up with 3 different versions of that. So that's, you know, that's fun.
Can you
So
die harder?
So you guys were talking about looking after your voice as well. If you had any advice for anyone out there looking to get into voice acting, what would it be? If you had any top
Don't go out drinking the night before a job.
If
Unless
you want
you're
to be
playing
lower,
Sam
do
Fisher.
it. No, it's good to
Advice?
have training, right? I mean, if you have a voice trainer, I think that would be a valuable asset.
Yeah.
Understanding how to work with a microphone, because there's a technique to it where you're not popping and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that can be helpful, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I could probably speak for all 3 of us. It's nice to be an actor who can inspire other people who get curious about acting. So I always love to try and offer advice and tips wherever I can for anybody who sends me a message. But there's so many resources out there. When I first started doing voiceover actors, I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
So I, called upon friends. I bought books. I read. You have to educate yourself to what the industry is, what it wants, what it needs from you. It's technical. You got to figure out how to work a mic and all this other fun stuff, which I had zero experience with because I'm not a musician and I can't sing for dog crap. But I think that's my number one advice is there's so much free stuff out there now that anyone can figure out how to make first steps. And I think people forget that, we're lucky enough to be in a video game, but that's years in the making and good circumstances coming together.
Yeah,
it doesn't just happen. So when someone says they wanted to get into voiceover acting, it's like, well, learn what the industry is, learn what they need from you. It's great that you're inspired, but now you have to roll up your sleeves and do the work. And I think that's always the disconnect. It's just like, I want to be in a video game. Everybody wants to be in a video game. So, learn how to be in a video game and, keep at it.
Yeah.
So on the education point, have any of you ever sort of looked into like military experience or ever looked, because a lot with obviously Call of Duty and Rainbow Six Siege, it's shooters. Have you done anything alongside that, just research or?
I think we've all done for movies, television, but also for video games. We've worked with, like one of the games I worked with a Navy SEAL.
Oh, nice.
For the movements and that sort of thing, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like just hanging out with this guy and hearing stories. And I've even contacted my friends that were in the military about certain roles just to get in their heads.
Yeah.
But movement's really important. You want they move a certain way. You don't want to just show up looking like an idiot, and then they'll all know it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a lot of sort of military films and military video games, and usually you'll have people on set, whether it's stuntman or choreographers who'll teach you what you have to do. Some jobs you even go through basic training. I remember doing a film in Thailand, and we did I think it was a week of basic training with one of the actors who was in the military.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I think there's usually someone on set to guide us.
Yeah,
Chad
we
would
had
probably know about this.
we had two very, very high-level Navy SEALs with us every day of filming for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Mitch and Steve, they're fantastic. Actually, my character Alex has arm sleeves tattoos, and that was kind of like a tribute to our Navy SEAL tech advisor. Steve is covered in sleeves too, so they emulated that on my character, which is a pretty cool nod of recognition. But they were very helpful. We had a whole day of what you were saying, just tactical movement, and just dialing in what the specific character, depending on what their background is, how they would do it differently, how they would hold weapons differently, how they might move differently. So that's usually those resources are available to you, and any actor that doesn't take advantage of that is an idiot. And we won't name names.
Yeah.
But
happens.
we're almost always fortunate to be able to work with people who know it for real.
We had a SEAL on Vanguard who was showing us a particular death move where he stabbed one of the characters in the throat because someone didn't really know how to do it. And as he's showing us, the whole cast looking at each other going, fuck, this guy's done this to somebody. He was so good at it. And it gave me chills. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's done this.
Just step away.
Yeah. We were very nice to him after that. But yeah. Like
Good
Chad said, there's usually someone on set to help with,
Yeah.
So
So we've talked about our hardest moments and characters. Have you got a favourite moment or just something that you enjoy doing within, the industry and the voice acting? You've got a favourite moment.
I guess I'm taking this one. Yeah, I think that motion capture, video game filming is really fun because you're really playing pretend. You're on the sound stage. There's almost nothing there except for some crudely constructed PVC piping to represent a helicopter, and that's it. And a bunch of sandbags just to make sure you don't walk on the other side of the sandbags, and everything else is in your head. So I think it's really fun to play with the actors that way and to just imagine that you're in the middle of a war zone or doing a helicopter extraction, or you're having a conversation on a helicopter or on the back of a truck on the move. So I think it's really, really fun, but it really comes down to being able to connect with your other actors in that way because you have to be word perfect because of the way video games are filmed, and you know, you have to be very aware of this like imaginary sandbox that you have to kind of create in your head as you're filming. So I think like connecting with your actors is in video game motion capture filming is probably the best part. It's challenging in its own way, but it's also really fun because you're kind of in your imagination playing pretend together.
Yeah. Right.
It's kind of like a play in a way,
Yeah.
because you have such a limited stage to work with and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like the quality of performers you generally get in a PCAP session for a game like what we've done is always outstanding. I've been on, you know, film and TV sets where, you know, the actors might not be as experienced, but you really can't get away with it in performance capture. Everything pretty much needs to be done in one take. It's very expensive to stitch scenes together.
Yeah.
So they need everyone off book, and it really is like a piece of theatre where everyone's got to be prepared. You've got to know your lines, and you need to have a good rapport with your other cast. And I think going into PCAP, you kind of know that you're getting some of the best performers out there, and that's been the biggest treat for me is watching them work. You know, I've done bits of TV where you know, but on the, you know, the PCAP stage, people are amazing.
You know, I was going to say one thing about that is with film and television, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but it can also be really tedious because you will shoot a bunch of scenes this way on me, and there'll be a close-up and a wide shot, and then they'll come around to Martin, and they'll shoot that way again, wide. So it takes a long time to do one scene. Whereas in the performance capture, you've got the sensors all around the room and the mocap stuff on your face. You could get that take in one take, but you better have your shit together because they're all depending on you. So it's kind of a high-stress thing for me, too. I love it, but it's like I got to be on my game because you can't just stop and start again. You got to start the whole scene. So it's a really fast-moving thing. And usually that means you can do more in one day than you would normally do over a period of time.
Yeah. So on top of that as well, do you guys actually play the games? Do you play your own character, or do you prefer
Do we
to
play
stay
the
away?
games? Chad is the saltiest.
Not well,
Chad
but
is
yes.
the saltiest. I tell this story all the time. The saltiest Warzone player ever.
Come on.
Yeah.
We both play Warzone. Finally, I get in a game with him, and I still wasn't very good at it. And someone drops him, and I was already shot. And so I'm watching through his field of view, and he's wriggling off into the yellow gas. And I'm like, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" And he goes, "These bastards aren't getting my loadout." And he's great. And he taught me. Now I always do that. So
I did.
yeah, I know Jeff plays as well.
I think that's called poor sportsmanship, but I don't care.
Yeah,
Do you get the dubs though? Do you get the wins? Or are
Yeah,
you fine?
rarely.
he gets the dubs.
I have some friends that are very good players, and in my Twitch community, some are with us today. They're very good players as well, so they carry my ass to the dubs, because I don't create dubs for myself. So
Yep. Do you play yours?
Yeah, I played a bit of Siege, but to be honest with you, I've been so busy since Siege came out, for me, I haven't had much of a chance. I'm trying to get through Red Dead and a couple other games and whatever else at the same time, so, but I do love playing. I used to play a lot of Battlefield. Did anybody ever play Battlefield? Yeah, I was in a squad there. We were pretty good. We did all right. But it was cool because two of the guys were ex-military that we would work with too.
Yeah.
And they were so good with situational things. They always had me going in the right direction because I didn't know where I was going. So they knew my direction before I knew where I was going.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, about to say, I've played a bit of Battlefield. I've done a bit of all of them, really. But, yeah, I'm not that great either. So if anyone else wants to carry me, please do. But moving on, so for the voice acting, did you all go through a sort of educational way into voice acting? Or did you, like we were mentioning, training earlier? Is that how you all got into it?
Well, I have a doctorate in voice acting
Oh, nice.
from the
Okay.
Cambridge University. No,
Oh,
it's just
I thought that was a thing. I'm very gullible.
No, it's just, I think it's just like Chad said, you know, you start acting and it evolved in there. When I first started, I remember I landed the Resident Evil. I was really excited because I play video games. But I remember the first Ubisoft game, I can't remember what it was, maybe it'll come to me. I remember the guy said to me, "Man, you really got up on this one." And I said, "Yeah, I want to do it." And he said, yeah, so many actors won't even bother. They look down on it. That has changed so much.
Oh, yeah.
It's so competitive now. Every A-lister, everybody wants to get in the video games. So you really have to, again, be on your game when you're auditioning and that sort of thing, because it's not like you have a few video game fans that want to do it now. It's like the whole industry wants in on it.
Yeah. Talking on the auditions, do you have any tips for auditions? I have a few voice actor friends and they just don't know how to go about it. Is there any sort of, prep?
Marty and I would just do one for him.
My tips. You don't want my tips. No, I think, obviously you want to be as prepared as you can be, and it's best if you can spend some time with your dialogue and learn your lines. And when we have time, we do that. And when we don't, I don't. No, but yeah, just preparation,
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty much the same as if you went for a normal acting job, because really it's just you have to create a character within the specs that they want. You want to make that person as believable. You want to connect with the reader, like you were saying about connecting with the other actors. You want to show them that you are that person. So, yeah, getting your lines down, everything else, it's literally just the same, I would say, in terms of the audition process. There's also the voice auditions. Sometimes you can just be reading for a voice, like what do they call them? The character.
Announcer?
What?
Announcer one?
Yeah, or that sort of thing. That's going to be a bit different, but yeah, like it's an acting gig, so you treat it like you would that way.
Nice.
Yeah, I think if you look at the audition as the job,
Yeah.
not as the hurdle to get to the job, you really can't lose with it, because for me, when I realized that, it's not about this imaginary job that I'm auditioning for, the audition is the job. And when I started just worrying about that and forgetting about the audition as soon as I'd done it, I really started enjoying the process. And you put a lot more into the audition and you enjoy the experience and you don't have expectations. Of course you want to book the job, but once you can kind of switch that thing off in your head, I personally found it made, auditioning much more enjoyable, and it's something I really enjoy now.
Nice, yeah. So before we do open it up to see if there's any questions from the audience, is there anything upcoming in the future that you guys could probably hint about, or not? Thought I'd just throw that in there, but just in case.
I have some stuff coming that I can't talk about because they'll kill me, but yeah, that's usual though. Most of the time, you guys, you know what I'm talking about. They make you sign NDAs, even do audition for the stuff, so don't talk.
Okay, so everyone's lips are sealed.
I'm going from here to go film a military action movie franchise for Sony. I do called Sniper. I think some of the pictures came up here. So we're gonna go and do the 10th Sniper movie and the 7th one I've been a part of. So I'm leaving at 3 in the morning to go and film. And that's something I can actually talk about, which is rare. Hey, there it is. Who's that?
Yeah, there you go.
He's hired.
Brandon Beckett.
I want to be in that movie.
If you're talking about non-stuff, non-video games, I have a show out right now on Paramount Plus, if you get it, called SkyMed. I'm not recommending it, but maybe I'm just saying if you want to see it. No, it's good. But, yeah.
Nice.
And Martin?
Yeah, there are some things I can't talk about. I just released my first feature film that I directed called The Dunes in Australia.
Nice.
So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, that's about all I can talk about right now.
Yep, that's fair enough, fair enough. Right, so we're going to open it up to the audience. I think, I can't see, but there might be a microphone in the middle. Is there? I don't know if there is, but
There is.
There is.
there is.
Confirmed.
So it will light up. But if anyone does have a question, go over to the microphone and you can ask it to anyone in the panel. If anyone has a question. There you go.
Anybody?
We've got one.
Anybody?
Make sure you're close to the microphone. Makes it 10 times easier. Get real close.
I do have one. It involves the new Call of Duty. Will Alex make an appearance throughout the seasons?
I get that question a lot, which is very flattering to me because it means that people loved Alex and they really want to see him back. But I can't say anything either way, unfortunately. So we'll all just have to wait until the game comes out and Warzone continues to see if Alex makes an appearance. So all we can do is this.
Let's get evil.
Let's get evil. I'm also going to say this because I love it, and I'm mic'd up. My favorite line when I kill someone in Warzone, which is rare, is humble pie, asshole. Had to do it. Had to do it.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
Say, do we have any more? I think we've got one coming.
Yay!
Feel free to line up ready for the microphone. Makes it easier.
Yeah, don't be shy, guys. Ask us whatever you want.
Anything.
Or else I'll go up and
Go
ask
wild.
those questions.
I share anything. Not much of a question, but more of a challenge. You guys are all voice actors. Try and do your best voice impression of Solid Snake.
Oh.
Solid?
The only Metal Gear I ever actually played is
Never
the
done it,
original
is it?
for Nintendo, and there was no voiceover acting in a Nintendo game, so I can do the sound of a typewriter.
Repeat after me. Try and get a gruff voice. Go, Metal Gear, it can't be. Off you go.
Metal Gear, it can't be.
Metal Gear, it can't be.
Metal Gear. It can't be.
Brilliant, thank you.
That's great.
So you're
Welcome.
long talked about how you play video games. Is there any voice actors you look up to?
Ooh, so
Jeff
who do you
Turvey.
guys
Jeff and
look up?
Chad.
Jeff Teravainen.
Nice.
Troy Baker, obviously, his portrayal of Joel amongst the 5,000 other great things he did. Booker, what's his name? Booker in Under the Sea one. What do you call it?
Bioshock.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for saving me.
I love that game.
Yeah, and I mean, in the original, there were so many great actors out there that don't get the credit. Because I've done this stuff where you're playing the AI characters. Some of the guys on Bioshock, I've looked them up because I thought, who are these guys? They're incredible. I remember playing Battlefield, hearing some of the stuff there, and it's just like, these guys are friggin' amazing. There's an actor out of Montreal who's from Ireland originally. He's been a ton of stuff. He was one of the characters in Far Cry 3. His name is Julian somebody, but again, one of the best actors I've ever heard in my life, and nobody knows who he is. And I'm not helping him because I forgot his last name. But, you know, he's in Far Cry 3 and 5 and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I'm always amazed by the talent in the industry. Not mine, his and his, but
Thank you.
thank you.
Hi. So obviously you voiced Sam Fisher in Rainbow Six Siege. Will you be making an appearance in the remake?
I have to say that I had a head injury this morning, and I can't remember anything right now.
Okay, thank you.
Or I'll get a worse head injury from Ubisoft.
So if I'm going questions, I've got one. If you could work any type of role, like anything, what would it be? Like, what's your dream voice acting role? Or if you could take a character that someone's already done, what would it be?
I have a fantasy about playing Dirty Harry from Dirty Harry.
Oh, yeah.
I
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I love Clint Eastwood's portrayal of Dirty Harry. I love the franchise, and I love the stories I've heard about how he goes through scripts and just says, I don't need to say that, I don't need to say that, and he just strikes them off so that he says the bare minimum, and he goes, I can do that with a facial expression, I can grunt through that. I think that would be a really fun character to play. It's minimalistic, but there's so much nuance to everything and charm to everything that he does.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. I've got a lot.
Nice.
I've got a bunch. I'm gonna go. I have a whole list.
Roll them out.
I used to play a lot of Warcraft, so
Yeah.
I've queued up Wrath of the Lich King, which is my favorite ever Warcraft expansion on Warcraft Classic. So I'm gonna torture myself and play through that a little bit. But I think to do the voice of like an Arthas, the Lich King, or something like that would be amazing. To do the voice of the Punisher in any sort of Marvel Comics video game, and lastly, to do the voice of either Aragorn in Lord of the Rings or Conan the Barbarian. Yeah.
Nice.
Those would be my bucket list voice roles, for sure.
I freaking lucked out because I got to play one of my favorite characters ever. I'll tell you, when I auditioned for it, I think I had 4 auditions total. I had 3 recalls. And it was called Project something, and they didn't tell us what it was. So when I actually, after the last one I landed it, they called me the next day and they said, Jeff, they were very excited. They said, Jeff, you landed the role of whatever. And I said, oh, I'm really happy about this, of course. And they said, I could tell my agent was shaking. He's like, do you know who this is? And I said, I don't know. And he told me, I was covered in goosebumps. So for me to play him is, it's a dream come true. I always say, like, I've done a lot of cool things. I'm proud of a lot of stuff, but this one is really special because I've played every Splinter Cell since it first came out. I remember the day my brother telling me, I think you'll like this game, and we started messing around with it. And I thought, freaking hell, I love this game. So that's an honor. And I got to tell you something. I don't know if I told you this, but about the Dirty Harrier. I do a lot of other voice work, like I narrate shows for Discovery Channel and that sort of thing. And I auditioned for something the other year, a documentary. And I'll never forget, I read for it, I landed it, and I was so excited about it because it was for Warner Brothers. It was this big documentary series on a person. And I remember saying to my agent, can you imagine if I actually landed this, or sorry, if I not landed it, but if he actually watched it and listened to me speak? And she said, Jeff, he chose you. He has the final say in this. It was Clint Eastwood. I did a documentary series for Warner Brothers on him, so that was cool. And he sent the nicest note to me. So that's kind of like a highlight, because I'm like you. I freaking love Clint Eastwood, so that was cool.
Nice, nice. So do you all have any favorite voice lines? Since we were doing different voice lines, do you have a favorite one which we could present to the audience?
Favorite voice line?
I got a line.
Or lines?
I got a bunch of them. I actually said this in both Siege and Vanguard, which is, I'm not here to fuck spiders.
Oh, yes.
And then there's another one, you look like a 24-carat dickhead. And then there was one more that Ubisoft got me to say. It was at the end of a very long voice session, and they said, oh, there's one line that we were hoping you might say, a bit weird, but would you say it? And I'm like, I looked at it and I went, oh, this is going to come back to haunt me, but fuck it. And so I said it, and it was, I could be having my mum's meat pie right now. Very metaphorical, very inappropriate. But yeah, it's out there in the lore of Siege now. What about you guys?
Interesting. I got ahead of that one.
Cringing at that.
I got ahead of that one with the humble pie business. But I think that when my character, there it is, Warzone Season 3, Alex emerges from the rubble and reveals that he's alive, lost a leg, but saves Ghost's ass with a sniper rifle. And he replies to Ghost, let's get evil. Let's get evil. So that's kind of what Alex has become known for. And I think like in the campaign, Modern Warfare campaign, I really, I loved like just the all-American feel that they gave Alex. And so when he agrees to go off and sacrifice himself with Farah in the campaign, you know, he says, yes, ma'am. And I just think that that's so typically American, and it's become one of my favorite lines, even in that scene in the entire game. It's so simple, but it played so well and seemed to fit the two soldiers from two different worlds. And it's about the most American thing you can say, going back to the Old West. So those would be my two favorites. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, it's
Rodney,
my turn.
yep.
I forgot. I don't know. I love doing half the lines. I just spit on you.
It's all right. He does it all the time.
Argus deployed. But for some stupid reason, I remember having a laughing attack because I was doing something, and it was for Far Cry 5. And I remember, like you, I read the line, and is this really a line? But it was just like, this is terrible. Smells like Satan farted. But they wanted it really serious. So smells like Satan farted. No, more serious. So that was one that stuck out.
So let's talk a bit more about your characters. Would you say they resonate with yourselves? Like, are you incredibly like your character, or are you completely opposite in person?
I mean, yeah, the video games I've done are different, definitely just different versions of me. Yeah. Some are more ridiculous than others. And then I have my own like online Twitch persona, which I don't know how anyone takes me seriously. I can get pretty loose. But yeah, my Aussie video game personas are definitely just different aspects of myself.
What about you guys? Do they match your persona, or do you have a completely different one?
I think it's pretty on the nose. I think that Alex in Call of Duty in particular is one of the good guys. You know, he's an All-American, and he wants to do what's right. And I think that my mama raised me well, so there's a sense of wanting to put good out in the world and doing the right thing, and that it was always ingrained in me coming up. And I think that that's the epitome of what a good guy soldier is. You know, so I grew up on GI Joes. I had a lot of family in the military, police officers, and law enforcement as well. So I've always had a really profound respect for them. So I would say Alex is pretty on the nose, and I was allowed to bring that, I think, to the character as well. So yeah, he's not eating any meat pies from anyone's mom. He's a pretty respectful guy.
Nice.
I would say that, I think you guys agree, a lot of the time, any character you play, even the wackiest one, a lot of the time there's something in you that comes out anyway, so there's always some part of you that goes in them. But, yeah, I mean, like for Sam, I like to climb, and I've always enjoyed killing bad people, so we have that in common. I like the color green, so yeah.
Nice.
That would be it.
Yeah.
I like the color green.
That's it. That's the answer to everything. But going back to the voice acting in itself and the auditions we were talking about, how would people be able to find auditions? Do you just look online? Do they come to you? I know you mentioned agents, but I'm guessing that's not, right from the start.
Yeah, I think like with just general acting, depending on sort of what level you're at within your career, you start outsourcing them yourself. There are websites and what have you that you can look on, and then as you sort of build up and you build a team around you, your agents and managers will find you different opportunities.
Yeah.
I think, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's safe to say that all three of us came from TV, film, on-camera acting, and found our way into voiceover. But what I've learned is it's not as hard to maybe get an agent and maybe get some auditions coming in, but because it's so easy to do, the level of competition is insane. You know, these casting directors are listening to thousands and thousands and thousands of actors all reading for the same part. So how do you cut through that? You know, that's the catch-22. You don't know. But I think it's with any industry. You know, there's that 80-20 rule where it's like 20% of the actors take all the jobs, literally. And then there's the 80% who just do their best to try to become one of the 20%. And I think that I find that a lot in voiceover and video games and stuff. People just recycle who they know over and over and over again. You know, so that's why when you do book something, like we've been fortunate to book, that moves the needle. It helps us get that much closer to being called back and invited to the party. But, you know, the struggle is getting that one, which could take years or it could never happen. And that's the reality of the industry that we're in. If you want security, go and be an accountant or anything else. That sounds boring, but at least you won't wonder about your next meal.
I was going to add to that, too. I was going to say it's constantly growing, but it's still a small industry in terms of the players that are going to hire you. And I think having a good attitude when you get there, you know, just if you get that chance to get on, be respectful and have fun, because like you said, there's better ways to make a living more stable, so hopefully you are having fun. I'm grateful for anything I get, so I hope that comes across when I do it. I know you guys are. Like, you enjoy it, so it comes across when you're working, so, yeah.
I'm a nightmare on set. I've been fired from every job I've been on. You make a great point, and that people that are in the industry a long time really come to appreciate good people, you know, that are talented. You can have talented people and good people, you know, no matter what horror stories you hear about all this nonsense in Hollywood. So, you know, to show up prepared, be respectful, and just be grateful will take you far, you know, and the ability to outlast everyone else, because I think that's a really underrated quality in the industry that we're a part of, is so many people turtle up and die and call it quits and go back home because they're not prepared to spend the year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it takes. So you know that perseverance really will pay off over time if you got the gumption, as they say.
Yeah.
I'm 15. I think 15 years in America now, and throughout that time, the amount of Australian actors that have come to the States, come to Hollywood, given it a crack for 2, 3, some 10 years, and it just gets too much. They want families, they want a stable income, and I think, you know, for myself, I never had anything else that I wanted to do. You know, it's what makes me happy, and I don't rely on that for an income. I used to when I was first getting started, you know, and I found it really debilitating. But as soon as I kind of changed my mind and went, make my money somewhere else, do this because you love it, it removes a lot of the desperation that we can all feel from time to time when we're not working. And, you know, and I love making my own stuff. I'm a big proponent of creating your own content. And, you know, Chad streams on Twitch, and this is what social media is really great for, is keeping you fresh. I love streaming on Twitch. I get to perform whenever I want. You know, most days, I know some people look at me and they're like, man, you stream all the time. But if I've got an hour spare, to me, it's a little workout. You know, you get to interact with your audience and flex that muscle in front of a camera. And yeah, if you love it, you'll find a way to do it.
If no one's seen Martin's stream, go check it out.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/MartinCopping, COPPING. They're very fun. I've been on his stream. We've co-streamed together quite a few times playing Call of Duty.
It's where the
It's
weird
a riot.
happens. Yeah.
It's a blast. It really is a blast. And you know, I stream too. I'm much more casual, and I'm not very good at giving a heads up when I go live, as my friends here can attest. But it's fantastic to be able to have a community and to connect with them, you know, about video games that you all love together. So it's been a really, really wonderful opportunity to be in Call of Duty, to play Call of Duty, to meet people, because I don't know that the video game industry always makes it a priority to have the actors engage. You know, TV, films, stuff like that, you'll see that they'll have the actors engage with their audiences, but in video games, you don't see it as much. So it's nice to be able to take that in our own hands and to be able to connect with the gamers and the fans and around the world, and to run some games with them and let them carry me to victory.
Nice. So as we run to the last few minutes, we are going to open again for questions, so make sure you head to the microphone if we have any more. But one final thing, have any of you been playing the COD beta this weekend, and how are you finding it? I had to play and I got
Jeff,
destroyed.
how did you find the COD beta?
I got destroyed.
Honestly,
it can't be worse than that.
There's something wrong with me. I'm going to go get checked. We started playing, I think it's because they're so close to the monitor. Like, you're literally on top of it, and it's so jerky that he looked at me. I'm sweating like crazy. I feel like I've been in sea, like in a boat from the 1600s in a storm. I literally had to get away. I was so sick, but he was too.
Yeah, I looked across. Chad was locked in, and he was just smoking people.
The game's amazing. I can't wait to play it on a farther away from the system.
Yeah.
But I was sick all freaking day.
I looked across at him, and I'm like, I'm feeling a bit queasy.
Yeah, we were in.
Just
I'm gonna
sweating
throw up.
bullets. He's like, I don't feel so good.
Yeah, we were in the booth playing with some of the people in the queue out there, and I liked it. I dig it. I think it's fun. I get why people are excited. I know that they loved Modern Warfare, and they're very kind, and it was very well received. So they're excited to kind of have that universe continue after waiting so many years. But it was fun. Like I really enjoy it. There's enough from the original game and the ongoing game to love about it, but also some new wrinkles. I didn't get sick. I had a 1.10 kill death ratio in one of the matches. That rarely happens. Mostly they're around 0.5, 0.6, dying a lot more than I get the old kills. So
I still can't figure out what
I just wanted to bring
kill to death
that up.
ratio is. I know I got 12 kills, and I love some of the new mechanics where you can like.
Oh, the ledge hang?
Yeah.
You hang on.
It's really good.
If you want to get jacked, you can do chin-ups without going all the way up. It's
Imagine that your character gets more powerful.
Yeah, he gets more buff. I really enjoyed it.
I saw a clip where like a player was hanging like a chimpanzee, and then just taking the handguns and like shooting people from a
Amazing.
from a hang. I like it. It's good.
Cool. I'm actually
Navy
looking
SEAL
forward
move
to
all the
Warzone
way.
too.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Cool. So why don't we move over to the questions?
Yeah, more questions.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, guys. This mic is too high. I have a question. You know, you've been talking about the Twitch community, and has there been an experience that has really touched your heart within the community, playing with the players, being part, them being part of that community with you? Has there been an experience that's really, like wow, overwhelmed you?
I've had a few of those experiences, especially I started streaming through COVID, and I've received quite a lot of emails on Instagram sort of saying, thank you for streaming. I know a lot of people had a really, really challenging time through COVID, being locked up and not being able to do a lot. And I know a lot of people really took, and it's not just myself, I know, a lot of other streamers, people really took sanctuary in having somewhere they could go and having friends that they could hang out with online and build a community. And, I try and interact with my audience. I know Chad does as well. And it was really nice to feel like you were helping people, which I don't know if I'd experienced on a sort of broader extent. You feel it sometimes with friends and family. It goes both ways. But to have kind of people you didn't even know sending messages, you didn't even know they were in your chat, saying it was nice to have a place to hang out. And I keep a pretty tight community that are very respectful. Or you get the ban hammer.
Ban hammer.
Yeah, but it was good. That was something that happened. Quite a bit through COVID, and it felt very special because you have times sometimes when it gets all a bit much. Streaming can be a lot, and then you get a message like that, and it kind of makes it really worthwhile.
I mean, Martin did a charity. Don't let him. Martin did a charity stream and raised $10,000.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
And these guys came in.
What a wonderful platform, to be able to do that and rally people together for a good cause. But I agree with you. I think that's one of my favorite parts is, and I always make the joke on stream, I'm like, they're not here for me, they're here for each other. Because maybe I'm the reason that they showed up and got curious, but to see people become friends with each other from all around the world. Like, there's so many people there that never played Call of Duty ever, and now they all play. They had never streamed ever, and now a lot of them stream, and now they're making friends, and they're flying halfway across the world to see each other because they become such good friends just in a chat room. And I think that this is an absolutely amazing way to have people come together. I was lucky to have a bunch of wonderful visitors here, to meet them in person. So yeah, it's a great platform. I love it. Jeff, I suppose you should get into it so you have something to say next time about.
I know. I apologize.
Jeff does make guest appearances.
Jeff's a busy guy. Jeff's a very busy, in-demand working actor.
I have a 13-year-old as well that's very active, so.
Cool. Well,
I
I
want your
think
excuses,
that's
Jeff.
it, and coming to the end of our panel. So to finish off, where can everyone find you? What are your socials? You mentioned Twitch. Have you got twitch.tv or Twitter?
My socials are just at Martin Copping on everything: YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram,
You have
Facebook.
Snap? I'm gonna send you
Same on
Snap,
everything.
Yeah.
bro.
Yep. Same ridiculous content on everything too.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm very active on Instagram, Twitter, a little bit on TikTok. I love actually interacting with people. I have a ball. I mean, some of you I know from there, and I love doing that sort of thing. It's great. It's a weird thing, but I mean, I'm in the UK. London's my favorite city in the world. I've been obsessed with it since I was a kid, and being able to come here for this reason, and just the fact that I'll get tweets from people say that know who I am from London freaks me out. It's a really cool thing. So yeah, I welcome anybody. Say hello. I'm always like trying to post something interesting. Not as interesting as these guys, but it's still.
I would argue more interesting. Jeff goes all around the world. He was posting videos from a friggin' yacht outside of Spain.
Yep.
He goes like fossil hunting all around the world. He's given everyone a virtual tour of London, basically. So go follow Jeff, his social media. He's always getting up to something adventurous.
Mudlarking.
Yeah, I want to go mudlarking. I want to
next-
be on the Thames River, and I want to go look for Roman coins and stuff. I follow a guy that does it. So I don't know what time it is now, but we should head up before it gets dark.
Roll up your denim and get in there, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Collins Chad M. and Twitter and Instagram. I try to be fairly good about responding. Chad Michael Collins on Facebook and twitch.tv/Chad Michael Collins. You know, and I think, like Martin, I always try to take certain streams to be able to play with anybody that's in the community. So I really love to have the player streams. So if you're ever curious, stop by. We'll run some games.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being a part of this panel and helping out, and thank you to everybody for watching, and that is it for our final
Thank
panel.
you guys.
Thank you,
EGX
everyone.
2022.
Appreciate you.